Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Critting Your Role, an actor's guide to role-playing your character. So, again, this little mini-series of Critting Your Role is all about warm-ups. Last week, we talked about some physical stuff you can do to warm your muscles up, specifically, the whole body muscles. Today, we are going to talk about what you can do to warm your voice up. Now, one of the easiest things in the world is to damage your voice. It happens all the time with singers and non-singers. It's actually been happening. It's starting to grow into a trend with some singers. Like I'm gonna blank on this. I think it was Lorde that had to cancel some tour dates because she actually physically damaged her vocal cords and had to have surgery on them. If anyone, I really hope when I say the name Julie Andrews, no one goes, who? Because she was an amazing, phenomenal vocalist that had, I believe it was nodules on her vocal cords. The surgery went poorly, and she lost most of her amazing range for singing. She used to be this brilliant soprano, and now I think she's gained some of it back, but it's nothing like what she used to be. So damaging your voice is not difficult at all. It's something that a lot of people don't think about, and it's really easy to prevent. Using good speaking techniques like breath support. Remember I did that whole thing about breath support and learning how to do breath support correctly and everything. Just by supporting your breath correctly and projecting in a correct way where you're not straining your vocal cords will add years to your vocal lifespan. It really will. And it'll help prevent you from putting any undue stress on them, especially if you are doing strange voices or anything like that, or speaking in an accent that requires you to put forth a little bit more. So the warm-up that I want to teach you guys, and this is going to be a theme, simply because this is how warm-ups work. Warm-ups are silly. They just are. I have never found a really effective warm-up that doesn't make you look just silly. And the warm-up that we're going to do here is actually one of the best vocal warm-ups that I'm aware of. I know a lot of professional vocalists that use this. I know a lot of, the first time I went to college, about half my friends were music majors, and about half of those friends were performance majors. A large majority of them were vocal performance majors. And this is the warm-up that they used before all of their recitals and things like that. The warm-up itself is called lip trills. And all it is this. And that's all it is. That is a lip trill. And one of the reasons it's such an effective way to warm up your voice is, first of all, a vocal warm-up should start in the middle of your range. And again, we talked about vocal ranges before. Sometimes it can be small as like an octave. Sometimes it can be large as 3 or 4 octaves for truly gifted and talented singers. But your average range is going to be about 2 octaves. And the more warmed up your voice is, the wider your range is going to be, the more of your range you're going to be able to use. If I don't warm up my voice before singing, there are notes that I can't hit until after I warm it up. So with lip trills, they're pitched, and so they should start at a very comfortable middle part. Whatever your normal speaking voice is, that's where your lip trills should start as far as tone is concerned. The other reason lip trills are so useful is because they require you to support your breath. In order for your lips to do that buzzing thing, You actually have to hold your lips together, and if you're not forcing enough air through your lips, they won't actually buzz. They'll just go instead of. And so what lip trills do is, first of all, they let you slowly just kind of reach the edges of your range gradually. And that's what you always want to do when you're warming up your voice, is start in the center where you're very comfortable, and then slowly stretch yourself to the outer extremities, both high and low of your range. And you want to support your breath. You want to support your vocal cords and things like that, because if you're creating the volume by straining your vocal cords and yelling, that's where issues comes in. That's where permanent vocal damage can come in. So lip trills, again, they look silly. You know, if you're going around before game just going, you're going to look silly and you're going to feel silly, but it's a phenomenal warm up. And you should take a good at least 5 minutes, maybe even 10, just going up and down. So for me, I have a relatively wide range, and so with a lip trills, it would go on for a lot longer than this, but lip trills for me would start out, literally this is what I do when I use lip trills for warm-ups. So take a big deep breath. And you can have fun with it. You can do things like you can, like revving an engine or shifting an engine, I guess. I know more about women than I do about cars, and I've been single for 10 years, so give me a break. But you can, have some fun with it. Sit there going, things like that. And you notice my voice sounds a little bit clearer now. If I were to sing, I can't even think of a higher song right now. I was so blind I did not recognize the fire burning in her eyes, the chaos that controlled my mind. Before warming up, that's very, very high for me personally. I am bass. The stuff that I sing is things like, now shines the fullest splendor of heaven. And so going all the way up there, and then going into falsetto things, all of that is done through lip trills and things. The other thing that you can do, it's not quite as effective as lip trills, but you can get other people in on it as well. This is very, very common in choirs around the world. There are a bunch of different ways to do this, but basically what it is I'm going to teach you guys, it's called Many Mumbling Mice, because like the last session, this is going to warm up your ability to use your mouth, and it's going to help you to kind of stretch your range. So you start off by just singing this very simple melody. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. And then you go up what's called a half step, or a semitone. So you go, many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. And so what that does, again, it very gradually increases your pitch higher. And you can do the same thing backwards where you just keep going down. Many, many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight. Mighty nice. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight. Mighty nice. Many mumbling mice are making merry music in the moonlight. Mighty nice. And there are hundreds of these things out there. Anyone that has ever been in a choir has sung these things before. But they all share the same basic thing. They tend to target a pretty small range, normally within about 3 notes of each other, and then you just slowly work your way up. And in general, I know most choirs, because the upper range is the range that most of the people are going to be singing in. It's only the basses that really have to worry about their bottom range. They will generally only do it upwards, but again, you can do it downwards as well to really give you good control over your full vocal range. And again, by doing this, by warming up your voice, despite the fact that you're not actually going to be singing, with your voice being warmed up, the muscles, your vocal cords, which are just folds of muscle that stretch and loosen to change the pitch of your voice, they're going to be warmed up. They're going to be prepared so that you can really take full advantage of anything you want to do. And again, when you combine this with, whether you're doing an accent or whether you're doing a character voice, if you think of like Grog, and he talks down like this, and yes, I would like to rage. Warming up your lower register for a character that's going to be using your lower register a lot is essential. And the same will be true if you're playing a very high-strung person who's always speaking up here and looks down their nose at people and things like that. All these things, as much as you don't think about it, they are going to all fall back on your vocal cords. And if you're not treating your vocal cords right, you're not warming them up correctly, you can damage your voice. And once that damage is done, it can be irreversible. There are many, many horror stories of professional vocalists who rely on their voice in order to make their living, losing entire octaves of their range because of damage to the vocal cords. And sometimes it's due to bad practices. Sometimes it's just simply because they didn't warm up. So yes, warm up, really good. In the comments below, any of you former choir geeks, please, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite warm-up phrase was. Again, I used many mumbling mice because that was the first one that came to mind. But like I said, there are hundreds of these things. None of them make any sense. And they're all silly and things like that. And I would love to hear and just get a little trip of nostalgia back to back to choir. So please, if you know that, and for everyone else that wasn't a choir student, let me know in the comments. First of all, if you can do this, and second of all, how the lip trills feel. Because the first time you do it, again, I'm an instrumentalist. I'm used to, I played a woodwind instrument, I played saxophone, so I'm used to actually having a vibrating reed in my mouth when I'm playing, and so I'm used to my lips buzzing all the time whenever I played. But for people who've never done it, doing lip trills feels really, really weird because your lips tingle afterwards. So let me know after you do your lip trills, how weird is it for you? Anyway, that's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.